Our next guest is a man who does not lack in confidence right now for obvious reason. We spoke with him recently on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. All-American BYU quarterback Zach Wilson, a projected top 5 draft pick. And today we begin a series of weekly conversations that will lead us all the way up to the NFL draft. Cannot wait for this. Pay attention. Zach Wilson on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Zach, from morning until evening, what is the typical day like in your life right now?
Yeah, it's exciting. Not having school, of course, is always fun. We wake up 7 a.m. We start on the field. We got our quarterback group going. We're working through footwork, drops, throwing mechanics, technique, all that stuff with 3D QB. At about 8:30, we're in the film room. We started off watching the playoff teams, defenses, game prepping for those. We would kind of get used to what it was like in the NFL to have to prep for a game. We watched the Super Bowl, all that kind of fun stuff. And now we're kind of into learning the different types of offensive schemes and understanding, West Coast offense and the digit system and just getting used to that stuff. And then around 10, I have my running stuff with Les Spellman. So I'll drive back over to close to where my house is at in Irvine. Working on 40s, the explosion stuff, just making sure we're going to run some good 40 times. And then at about noon, I'll go in for my lift. And we work, it's different. We work a lot of rotation stuff. We're working a lot of core strength, different mobility, shoulder stability, all that stuff. I'm not bench pressing anymore, cleaning or anything like that. Working on the little secondary muscles, a lot of good leg stuff for sure. It all ties hand in hand, and I'm typically done there at about 2, go home and grab some food. And then we have physical therapy, and they actually will come over to our house. We'll lay on the table and they'll stretch us. It's like the greatest thing. You just lay there on the table and someone just sits there and stretches you the whole time, puts you through some mobility drills and, things to work on. And, that's probably my favorite part. So I'm typically done by 4 every day. Our heavier days are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday, Thursdays are kind of our lighter recovery days.
Are you loving this? You got a smile on your face when you said you didn't have to clean or bench press, but are you loving becoming even a better quarterback?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I feel like I'm throwing it super well compared to where I've been. I just feel like my body feels better. The only problem is just having that quarterback body, right? I mean, you don't get a bench, so your pecs don't look good for the girls and all that stuff. But, it is what it is. You have to sacrifice to be able to throw the ball well.
I've been sacrificing that for about 15 years. Zach.
Yeah, there's a lot of us there.
I can relate to that. It's been fun to see you with Justin Fields and Kyle Trask and working out with these guys. Of course, your relationship with John Beck goes way back. But what's the dynamic like of hanging out with and training alongside those guys?
Yeah, it's competitive. We're all out there pushing each other. It's cool because we're not really competing with each other. I would say, different teams are going to take each one of us. So, my perspective of them is I wish and hope the best for them. I hope they land at the spot they're supposed to land and, all that stuff. So we have each other's back in that regard. And, it's super cool because we go out on the field. We learn a lot of stuff that they're doing in their offense, how it's different from us. We're able to learn a lot of the things that they did. And then maybe, hopefully they can learn some of the things that I did at BYU, and we all kind of compare. And then John throws in his knowledge, and it's cool to just have those guys around. The atmosphere, especially on the field, is great too. You get to sit there and watch those guys throw, and it pushes you to, to do better. So,
Zach, we're excited to talk with you for the next several weeks leading up to the draft. And obviously you're in the news all the time, which is just fun. And sometimes it's an awkward subject. So let's talk about one of those. There was a lot made of you not being a captain initially. What did you make of that?
Yeah, it is what it is. After my sophomore season, there was an open competition. It happens all the time. And it was an opportunity for me to prove that I was going to be the starter again. Shoulder was feeling great. I was feeling good. I was working on my leadership skills to be able to lead this team. We come off a 7-6 season, lost a couple games at the end of the year. And so it was an opportunity for me to prove myself. We did actually have players voting before quarterback had been announced. And, me and the other 2 guys had been put on a leadership council, and, it is what it is. And it happens. And after the captains were announced, before we even went into our first game at Navy, quite a bit before, once I had been named the starter, according to Kalani, some of the other captains had gone up and vouched for me, that they said that I should be part of the captain role, especially once Bushman went down and I was able to take that role. Not even being part of it at first, it was upsetting, but at the same time I understood, I wasn't the starter at the time of the voting. And so I know that stuff happens. I know that's just on me because, I was the one that, was in a competition. I didn't play well enough the year before. So, that stuff happens, but fortunately it worked out. So.
What did that mean to you when your teammates vouched for you to have the C put on your jersey?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool, especially because I think it came from a lot of the older leaders that we had, some of the guys that had been there for a while and the ones that had probably seen how much time and effort I give to this team and what I was trying to accomplish for this last year. So, it meant a lot when those guys had gone out of their way to do something like that. I thought it was cool.
Now the conversation and the pendulum has swung, right, from that to, maybe he should be the number one pick. What's your reaction to that new narrative?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how, everything switches so fast. It comes as fast as it goes. That's for sure. So, it's crazy. I'm not sure which way everything's going to go. I know there's a lot of great quarterbacks in this draft, but, it's definitely a humbling experience that I'm very grateful to be a part of. This is the time of my life, that's for sure. No school. You're able just to grind on football every day. I'm in California where the weather's, 85 degrees and, it doesn't get better than this. So I'm really soaking it all up every single day, just enjoying the training and being around the guys and learning as much as I can.
We're not jealous of you at all. Zach,
I've seen all the snowstorms.
See what you're missing out on in Utah, man.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Zach Wilson with us on BYU Sports Nation. I want to dive a little bit more into the narrative of the top 5 draft pick conversation. How do you handle that and try and stay focused on one day at a time? Because the noise is growing louder and louder, and it's more prominent than ever before around you.
Yeah, well, I mean, personally to me, mock drafts mean absolutely nothing. You see, I mean, first of all, every single year they throw 5 or 6 guys into the top 10, which is, super unrealistic. So how I view it is just, the coaches and teams that I talk to and what their perspective is on me, what things they think I can do better on. And then I'm not going to buy into anything as being a top 5 or a solidified draft pick in the top 5 or top 10 until it really happens, because, I don't want to get my hopes up and all of a sudden so many things can change before draft day. It's so crazy, how it all happens. But, a lot of that stuff is I would say extra, it doesn't mean much.
Yeah, it's fun for us when we have to fill an hour every day, or whatever. But anyway, walk us through what's going to happen the next couple months leading up to the draft, because we are about 2 months away. Obviously, Pro Day, March 26th in Provo, and then the draft in late April. Indianapolis is certainly different with the Combine. You were invited to that. So what will you do there, and what will you do at BYU's Pro Day?
Yeah, so I mean, running stuff, I'm probably going to be pretty limited on. I was just going to run at the Combine and then just throw out the Pro Day. But now that that's kind of out the window, I think what I'm going to do is just run down here in California with the guy I'm doing my speed stuff with, just have them film it, have a coach there to solidify that, our times and things are real. And, really not too big of a worry for me as far as the running and all that kind of stuff goes. So my plan is to just keep preparing for Pro Day as much as I can, as far as the throwing stuff, making sure I'm dialed in with my receivers and the guys I'm working with. So I'll come back about 10 days before the Pro Day, get some work with some of those guys, maybe even get them out here earlier to start working with me here pretty soon. But after the Pro Day, for right now, at least, privates and visits to teams and all that stuff are canceled. So really, I think what's going to happen is sitting on Zoom and after Pro Day and until the draft, I think I'm just going to be at home, just talking to teams on Zoom, just filling out, who wants to draft me and all that kind of of thing. And once the draft happens, I'll be sitting on Zoom, probably still learning the playbooks and all that kind of thing. So I'll probably be back out here in California trying to learn it with those guys, so going to be a lot on the computer.
Absolutely. That's like everyone's life right now, right? In a couple weeks, it's the 1 year anniversary of all this. When you say they, were you referring to receivers that you'll be throwing to specifically that you want to work with on Pro Day and get them to California?
Yeah, no doubt. So Bushman, Micah and Aleva from last year's, 2 years ago team. Those guys are going to give it another go at the Pro Day. So those guys are going to come out here and throw with me.
Sweet.
And then Dax, of course. So we'll have those 4 solidified. So I'll try and get those guys out here to start working with me a little bit. I know Bushman should be coming out here, I think about the 6th or so, and we'll be able to spend some time together.
Zach, I'm reminiscing currently about the BYU football banquet, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, when you had just finished high school and you were an early enrollee. BYU was coming off of a 4-9 season, and I see this young buck from Corner Canyon High School walk into the banquet room, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the Wilson kid. Okay, cool. From that moment until now, where do you feel like you've grown the most as not just a football player, but emotionally?
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I think back to my freshman year all the time and how much I didn't know about the game. I go back and watch film and I'm just like, what am I doing? I have no idea what's going on. I'm running around out there just trying to make plays. But those 3 years flew by. My college career just felt so short. Felt like I was barely there, but I went through the ups and downs. I went through some crazy adversity from, freshman to sophomore to junior year. And, I feel like that definitely helped me mature in my development, especially mentally, because I just feel like, I'm able to handle more, be able to put more on my shoulders and not get flustered by anything. That's definitely going to happen in the NFL. No matter where you get drafted, there's going to be ups and downs. And so that's definitely what I'm glad that I took out of that experience, because, that was a tough time for sure. But, it's crazy how much I've changed in 3 years.
Certainly so. And I saw some of your teammates that night pressuring you to dance. Are you a better dancer now, 3+ years later?
We'll see at the next banquet.
Can't wait for the Zach Wilson TikTok channel. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
That's not a thing. That's not a username.
You're like, don't worry about me, GMs and scouts. Yeah. You talked about the relationship with your dad and him essentially being your coach and him learning how to, coach you at quarterback and help you along this journey. What's his advice? What is he saying now as you get closer to realizing a dream of yours, which is to be drafted in the NFL?
Yeah, it's crazy because it's really, it's kind of shocking for me and my whole family. Every time we're on the phone, we're like, this is crazy, to even be in this spot comparative to where we were, just last year, and my emotions that I was going through last year of, I want to be the starter on this team. I know I should be the starter, and, all that stuff. It's crazy how just in 1 year, how much stuff can flip. And so, I think it's just a little surreal for all of us. And really it's, my dad understands, the work and stuff that I put in, because, he was right there alongside with me. And so really it's the message is just to keep doing what I've been doing and have that chip on my shoulder and approach this year, like I am competing for a starting role, do the exact same thing I was doing before.
Zach, it's fun to watch your parents gush about you and to see the happiness that you bring to them on the football field. A storyline that we're going to follow closely as we continue your path to the NFL draft. Before you go, I do need to ask you about your relationship with Dax Milne. I know you were excited about being close to each other, and then he tried to steal your PlayStation 5, and now you're not hanging out or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, that dude, he just plays PlayStation too much. That's the problem. That's why he never leaves the house. But yeah, he's always out working on his own thing. He doesn't care to hang out with the guys because he's just worried about the girls too much in California.
The truth comes out. Zach, It's great to catch up with you, man. We wish you the best of luck. Let's give you some BYU Sports Nation karma for the next week or so, and we'll do it again soon.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. It's great to catch up.